Hello friends, I am Arpit and now welcome to the monthly analysis of the Yojana magazine for the month of February 2025. This month we are going to cover this magazine in 4 parts. And in this video we will be covering the first out of the 4 parts, that is why this is part 1 out of 4. Generally every month we cover it in 3 parts, but yes, this month the topics were many and the topics were important. The theme on which February 2025's Yojana magazine has been based on is the energy sector in India. And that is in itself a very important topic. So, in the first part, we will be covering 2 topics. That is, first topic is PM Kusum, empowering farmers with solar energy. Here we talk about giving solar powered pumps to the farmers for doing irrigation or the existing, pumps, electrifying them or solarizing them as well. This is what we aim at in PM Kusum. That will definitely reduce the carbon footprint of the agricultural sector. Second topic, energy security in India, and here our special focus will be on renewable energy. So what has been the advancements in the renewable energy sector in the overall mix of energy demands by India. Then in the second part, we will be covering Indian carbon markets. These have been established. Schemes like Perform, Achieve and Trade schemes have also been implemented. So how they are performing, we will look into that as well. Smart Cities Mission and role of energy efficiency. The Smart Cities Mission was launched in 2015, where 100 cities were identified and they had to be converted into smart cities. Smart cities are those cities in which, at the core of which sustainability and I would say adoption of information and communication technology is there. So since we are talking about sustainability, so yes, this topic is covered over here in this segment. Then in the third part, we will be covering 2 topics, scope and opportunities for renewable energy in rural India. So what it is in rural India, majority of the population lives in rural India, and what is the scope of it over there. Then green hydrogen. We launched this national green hydrogen mission and according to this mission, by 2030, we aim to become the global hub of green hydrogen manufacturing of the world. That definitely can change the energy landscape in the country. So part 3, we will be dealing with these 2 topics. Then in the last part, that is part 4, we will be dealing with the remaining 2 topics, biofuels as a promising substitute for high carbon energy source. So India is, India started manufacturing or producing and using biofuels, like E20 petrol is available. And according to the national biofuels policy, by 2025, we have to blend 20% of petrol with ethanol. That is called as E20. Apart from it, India has also been a founding member of the Global Biofuels Alliance. So we will look into it. Then next is Pragati, driving India's development with purpose. So it is all about efficiently implementing the government schemes and policies. So yes, we'll talk about governance in the very last topic. So let's get started with the first part and the first topic, that is PM Kusum. Second topic, energy security in India. These 2 topics in green, which you can see on the board, we will be covering in this video. Now, PM Kusum, empowering farmers with solar energy. First of all, majority of population of India lives in the rural areas. Rural areas, as per the definition, are those areas where 75%, more than 75% of the population is engaged in agricultural activities. Population density is less, but major economic activity in the rural areas is agriculture. Around 40% of India's net sown area is irrigated, and for irrigation, electricity is required. Electricity is required to run those pumps, due to which the demand of electricity is high in the rural areas. Now, we have come up with a noble solution. First is PM Kusum. That is, it will, make those pumps powered by the solar power. therefore reducing the demand on the traditional forms of electricity generated. Second, since this solar power is environment friendly, so it is definitely reducing the carbon footprint of agricultural sector in the country. So this is how we need to look at it. So agriculture is obviously cornerstone of India's economy. Majority of India's workforce is also there in the agricultural sector. It ensures food security, employment and economic growth. And there are multiple challenges. One such challenge is energy availability or electricity availability for irrigation. If we supply electricity to the farmers, then electricity available for domestic purposes is reduced. There are power shortages or power cuts. This is quite common in India. Especially if you go to tier 2, tier 3 cities, you will experience this. To address these issues and promote sustainable practices, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Utthan Maha Abhiyan, which is abbreviated as PM Kusum, was launched. It was launched in March 2019. Primary goal is to integrate solar energy into farming, thereby boosting agricultural productivity by making water available for irrigation easily. Second, reducing the carbon footprint of the agricultural sector. This is what it is. So as of now, India has installed over 5,02,000 solar pumps, cutting down CO2 emissions by 1.02 million tons annually. So these many solar pumps have been installed since 2019 under the PM Kusum scheme. Now, energy use in agriculture, just a brief I would say about it also you should know. It has traditionally relied on groundwater for irrigation, especially since Green Revolution. And as I said, roughly around 40-50% of India's net sown area is under irrigation. So where pumps, they require electricity for functioning. This has helped increase agricultural productivity. The reliance on diesel powered pumps and electricity for irrigation has significantly contributed to rising energy consumption. So since these are diesel powered, so these farmers go and buy diesel also. What if electricity is not available? But you have to do irrigation. So then, out of pocket expenditure increases of these farmers. The input cost increases of these farmers. In fact, energy use in agriculture now accounts for 8 to 11% of India's total carbon emissions. So 8 to 11% of India's carbon emissions come from the agricultural sector. These can be reduced. In recent years, subsidized electricity for farmers has further exacerbated the problem. Electricity for the farmers is subsidized. So when anything or any commodity is available for cheap, you tend to misuse it. And this can be expected from farmers which are less aware. While it supports farmers in the short term, it has led to over extraction of groundwater as well. Since more and more pumps are, used, so groundwater extraction is there. They extract more water than that is required. Now, that is also, leading to depletion of the groundwater levels. Again, wastage. As the demand for energy in farming increases, there is pressing need for cleaner, more efficient energy sources. And I would say smart pumps also should be there. They should be pumping that much water only which is required. They should be able to sense what is the availability of moisture and all. This is what, deploying more and more technology in agriculture. Artificial intelligence can do this in agriculture. Now, objectives and components of this PM Kusum. So, there are three components of PM Kusum. Component A is solar power plants. 500 kilowatt into 2 megawatt will be set up to provide clean energy and reduce dependency on conventional grid power. This is component A, solar power plants. Component B is standalone solar powered irrigation pumps. To which component will the solar power which is being generated through these plants will be supplied to? It will be supplied to these solar powered pumps. This is the second component. The third component, solarizing existing grid connected irrigation pumps. The grid connected irrigation pumps which are already installed, grid connected means which are taking electricity from conventional sources. They should also be connected with this, solar power so that their demand of electricity reduces. So these are the three components of PM Kusum. the component A here you can see solar panels or solar, I would say, plants. 10,000 megawatts of solar plants have to be installed. Second component, solar pumps which are connected to these solar panels, they have to be installed. And component C, the already existing pumps which are connected with the traditional grid, they have to be connected with this solar grid. So these three components are there of PM Kusum. Now, benefits of solar powered irrigation. What will be the benefits? Solar powered irrigation has multiple benefits for farmers and the environment. First, reduce reliance on fossil fuels. So obviously fossil fuels like coal for electricity generation, or in case of lack of electricity, then diesel powered pumps, these are, that will also be reduced. Lower operational cost, obviously operational costs will be less, although electricity is subsidized. But what if electricity is not there? You go for buying diesel, definitely that will increase your operational cost. This will reduce carbon emissions, no doubt about this fact. Enhanced farm income because your input cost reduces. Improved energy efficiency, obviously energy efficiency is getting improved because you are using a cleaner source of fuel. And user friendly operation it is. So all these are benefits of using solar powered irrigation in the agricultural sector. But yes, there are challenges also, and ahead of challenges there are opportunities as well. So despite numerous benefits, there are challenges to adapting solar powered irrigation systems. First is high upfront cost of these solar panels and then solar powered pumps. Difficulty in accessing credit. Credit is not so easily available, although government has subsidized the systems, but yes, still they are expensive. Electricity subsidies. Subsidized electricity for farmers discourages the adoption of solar pumps. They say that mil to rahi hai, sasti mil rahi hai electricity. Why go for this much investment and all? But still 5 lakh solar pumps have been installed. Groundwater over extraction happens because of subsidized electricity, and they become careless, and that has depleted the groundwaters in multiple regions. And as a result, in some regions like Uttarakhand, Tarai region and all, earlier there used to be two cropping seasons of the kharif crop, that is rice, I would say. But now, since this year, the government has said that there will be only one season of rice. And why? Because the groundwater levels have been depleted. Institutional gaps are there. There is lack of institutional mechanisms for integrating solar pumps with water saving technologies. So water saving technologies, like I said, ki in future we can think of ki bhai, we can integrate a technology in that solar pump ki whatever amount of water is required by the field, that much amount of water is only pumped, and that will happen with connecting sensors where that can sense soil moisture and give this indication to the pumps ki bhaiya more than this is not required, so don't pump. That is what you bringing in artificial intelligence. It is within this domain, but let's see when it happens. There are gaps as of now. Regional variations. The uptake of solar powered irrigation varies across different regions, but yes, it is intermittent also. In some regions the availability of solar or the sun is too high, in some areas it is less. So that is also a major challenge in adoption of this particular technology. Yes, in UPSC you need to know all the aspects. Challenges definitely need to be known, and we need to work on these challenges to make this technology more viable. Next is energy security in India, advancing renewable energy and sustainability through key government initiatives. So here we will be talking about renewable energy and advances in the renewable energy sector in the country, how much of our electricity is being produced through renewable energy, and what type of renewable energy is being generated in our country, and what are the various schemes the government has undertaken for the, I would say, enhancement of this particular sector. So India's energy security is a fundamental aspect of its economic growth. No doubt about this fact. Economic growth cannot happen without energy security. So that is very clear and simple. To reduce dependence on fossil fuels and promote cleaner energy future, the government has rolled out numerous initiatives which is focusing upon this renewable energy generation and connecting them with the grid. So as of January 2025, India's total non-fossil based energy capacity has reached 217.62 gigawatts, marking a significant achievement towards energy security. Now, this is somewhere around 40 to 45% of India's energy demand as of now. So, this is there. So, key initiatives such as National Bioenergy Mission, National Green Hydrogen Mission, PM Kusum, which we've seen, PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, we will see. All these have been undertaken by the government. And these programs are contributing to both economic growth and environmental sustainability. And all this is being undertaken by a country that is India, a developing country. Now, renewable energy capacity in India, if I talk about it, so multiple sources of renewable energy like the wind power, we can see over here, 48,163 megawatt. Solar power, 97,000. This is the highest among the types of renewable energy being generated in India. 97,864 megawatts. Small hydropower, 5100.55 megawatt. Biomass congregation, Bagasse 9806 megawatt. Biomass congregation non-Bagasse 921 megawatt. Waste to power means waste to energy by burning, I would say, waste like there are multiple waste to energy plants in India, like 7-8 waste to energy plants are there already installed. 249.74 megawatt generation is happening. Waste to energy off grid 370. Total renewable energy capacity 1,62,476.58 megawatt, which is obviously a big achievement. The other figure which you saw was non-fossil based fuels. Non-fossil based fuels, basically, if you have to know the demarcation, the fuels are of two types: non-fossil, fossil. Fossil comprises of coal, natural gas, petroleum. Non-fossil is further divided into non-fossil, non-renewable, non-fossil, renewable. Here you have that entire figure which you saw in the previous slide: solar energy, wind energy, which is renewable. It is non-fossil but renewable. Non-fossil, non-renewable, nuclear, large hydro, like this. They are not fossil fuels but they are not renewable also. So, this is the division basically. So, you can see small hydro is non-fossil renewable, but large hydro is non-fossil non-renewable. Now, the initiatives undertaken by the government for the increase of renewable energy generation in the country in the last few years. The first is the CDCC Wind Initiative. This is called as the Centralized Data Collection and Coordination Wind Initiative, launched in June 2020, aims to enhance wind energy development by improving wind resource assessments. It assesses which sector, in which region, how much wind is blowing, whether it is enough to generate wind power and all. The objective: facilitate wind energy development by providing detailed wind resource maps, support site identification for efficient wind energy projects, and encourage private sector investments and public-private partnerships. So, let me tell you friends that the state in India which is generating the highest amount of wind power is Tamil Nadu, followed by Gujarat. So, this CDCC Wind Initiative is kind of a survey, an ongoing survey which is going on, and this survey suggests that where wind power can be generated by how much. So, this is what it is. Key achievements of this: established over 800 wind monitoring stations across India. Initiative has contributed to 30% increase in India's wind energy capacity from 21.04 gigawatts in 2014 to 48.16 gigawatt in 2025. The Union Cabinet approved Viability Gap Funding (VGF) scheme of 7453 crores for offshore wind energy projects off the coast of Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, the two states which are the highest producers of wind energy. So, viability gap funding is what, let's suppose for a project 100 crores is the cost, but I am an investor and I have around 86 crores with me. Now, the gap is of 14 crores. So, government will come up with this fund so that this project becomes viable and funds me 14 crore rupees. That is called as viability gap funding. So this is being done for the wind energy projects. Next key initiative undertaken by the Government of India is the National Green Hydrogen Mission. Hydrogen is produced by a process called as electrolysis. Electrolysis is where, there is the cathode and anode dipped in water and they are connected with electricity supply. Now, if this electricity supply is renewable energy, then, the process electrolysis which they are doing, it separates H2 and O2. So, hydrogen. If electrolysis is done by renewable energy, then that hydrogen which it is producing is called as green hydrogen. It is launched in January 2023. National Green Hydrogen Mission focuses on green hydrogen production to reduce India's dependency on fossil fuels. Hydrogen is very, very efficient source of, I would say, energy. It has high calorific value, very high calorific value rather, I would say. It can replace fossil fuels wherever heat generation is required. It can replace coals, it can replace petroleum also. But, it is very difficult to handle. Now, India is wanting to become a hub of the green hydrogen according to the National Green Hydrogen Mission. Objective: position India as a leading global producer and supplier of green hydrogen. Create export opportunities for hydrogen and its derivatives. Develop indigenous manufacturing capabilities for hydrogen technologies. So, this is what the objective of National Green Hydrogen Mission is. But what are the key achievements of this mission till now? 19,744 crore rupees have been allocated for infrastructure and technology development. Over 8 lakh crore rupees in investments aimed at reaching 5 million metric tons of green hydrogen capacity by 2030 is envisaged. Not done, but it is envisaged. Selection of manufacturers for 1500 megawatt electrolyzers capacity are also being done, because this electrolyzer is that setup in which electrolysis will happen. Now, India hosted key international events like International Conference on Green Hydrogen 2023 in New Delhi and 41st IPHE meeting to foster collaboration on clean hydrogen technologies. The best part about this technology is that the byproduct is water, because when hydrogen will undergo combustion, means it will be burnt in the presence of oxygen, it will produce H2O, that is water. Next is the National Solar Mission. So, this is one such sub-mission under the National Action Plan of Climate Change. So, this mission was started in 2010 under the Manmohan Singh government, and it is one of India's flagship programs aimed at promoting solar energy adoption and addressing energy security challenges. Objectives: establish India as a global leader in solar energy, achieve 50% of total electric power capacity from non-fossil fuel based resources by 2030. This is one of the INDCs also, which we submitted in 2021. Currently, we are producing somewhere around 40 to 45%. We have to increase it to 50%, which is doable. Support solar technology diffusion across the country. This is what National Solar Mission aims at. The key achievements of this: solar power capacity increased from 9 gigawatt in 2016 to 97.86 gigawatt by 2025, which we saw that 97,000 megawatts of electricity is being generated by solar. So, it is 97.86 gigawatt being generated by solar. India ranked 5th globally in solar power deployment. We have to become number 1. This is one such objective of it. Installation of 58 solar parks with a 40 gigawatt sanctioned capacity, up from 34 parks and 20 gigawatts in 2016. Rooftop solar capacity grew from 90.8 megawatt in 2016 to 11,503 megawatt in 2024, which is 11.5 gigawatt. As of March 2024, the solar potential of India stood at 748.98 gigawatt. This is huge. It is expected that by 2030, India's total energy consumption will be 800 gigawatts. And our solar power generation potential is 748.98 gigawatt. We can consider it 749 or 750 gigawatts roughly to memorize. Okay. So, this is huge. Then next is PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, off grid, or I would say rooftop solar power panels which have to be installed, and Prime Minister of India launched this scheme in February 2024, and it is the world's largest domestic rooftop solar initiative. Goal is to provide solar panels for 1 crore households by March 2027. Objective: encourage rooftop solar adoption in residential sectors, provide financial incentives and subsidies for solar installations, and allow households to generate their own electricity, reducing dependency on the grid. And there is one more thing, that if you generate more electricity through these rooftop solar panels than you require, then you can sell the additional electricity in the grid. Net metering is done, and through that provision you can sell off the excess electricity being generated. Key achievements: 7 lakh rooftop solar installations completed within 10 months of scheme's launch. States like Gujarat, Maharashtra, Kerala and Uttar Pradesh have made significant progress, showcasing strong infrastructure and collaboration. A 20 to 30% reduction in electricity bills for households with solar panels is also expected. And the Model Solar Village scheme, with an 800 crore outlay, supports villages in promoting solar energy adoption, encouraging self-reliance in energy also. So these are the key achievements of this particular scheme. Now, to conclude, I can only say that India's progress in the renewable energy generation domain has been exceptional. Many countries in the world are not able to do it, and India, being a developing country, is able to achieve it. We are on the correct path of achieving our climate goals submitted in the UN by 2030. But yes, we need Jan Bhagidari to make it more successful. So with this, we end the first part of Yojana. I will meet you very soon with the second part, in which we will be discussing the topics which are outlined for the second part. Till then, stay tuned, keep watching. Namaste, Jai Hind.